So we get to meet the man who got Jonah Hill through some of the hardest moments in his life and has made him the man who he is today. But does that mean it's a good documentary? So Stutz is the brand new Netflix documentary that just got released. It's directed by Jonah Hill. It also stars Jonah Hill and the man whose name is the film, Philip Stutz, or Dr. Philip Stutz, who happens to be Jonah Hill's therapist. The documentary operates as if it was a session between Jonah Hill and Dr. Philip Stutz. Stutz, as a doctor, has a visual way of helping his patients get through things. He is not exactly the traditional type of therapist. He's very down to earth and he seems to be very good at what he does. He's really turned around Jonah Hill's life, and Jonah wanted to share his teachings and the tools that Stutz gave him so that maybe more people can find a little bit more joy in their life or improve certain things that they are struggling with through this little documentary. That's all well and good. That's all very nice stuff, like to want to provide people who are around the world who might not have access to Stutz a little taste of what this guy can offer and his teachings to use in your own life. That's all well and good. The main problem I had with this documentary is that in its effort to feel as if it's raw and, you know, very genuine, it feels very, very processed. There's a moment in this documentary where it goes from being a pretty standard therapy session, talking about the tools, talking about what they might want to bring up or what they might want to discuss to try and move forward, and then it turns into something that's a little bit more meta. And the problem I have with this is that it takes me away from the learnings of Stutz. The man is super, super interesting. He's been through a lot of hardship. He's become a doctor. He's become a psychiatrist. He has his own demons that he's fighting with. He suffers from Parkinson's disease. And he talks about his struggles with his issues while he is also trying to talk through with Jonah about Jonah's issues. The problem is when you have a film/documentary being made about a psychiatrist by their patient, and they're trying to keep it as if it's a session, like a session between the two men, it starts to really lose that genuine quality that I think a normal conversation would have. This really isn't the kind of thing that you can just film on camera and have it be genuine as if it would have been when there's no cameras. It's just not possible. I felt like a lot of points were quite scripted because of the nature of the doco. Like, it's a film/doco, and it is super interesting to hear about Stutz's life and to hear about where he's come from, what kinds of tools he gives to people. All that stuff is super interesting, and I would have loved just focusing on that. Like, just show us this man, give us just a standard doco about this guy, show us his drawing, show us his visual tools, give us some backstory, give us all that stuff. When they tried to turn it into a meta, oh, this is a session that we have between each other, it really loses that genuine quality. I know that Jonah Hill is a great dude, very, very talented, very creative, but I think that the model for this film, the actual process for creating this documentary and the style, the format they've gone for, has kind of had a detrimental effect on it. Maybe not for anybody else, but for me personally, I felt like the genuine quality that's needed from this sort of doco just wasn't there. It just didn't feel like an actual session between the two men. So that's why I'm gonna give Stutz a 6 out of 10. So tell me guys, has anybody watched Stutz? If you have, comment down below, let me know what you thought about it. Yeah, this one was a little bit disappointing for me. I didn't really go into it with many expectations, but I found myself checking how much longer there was every maybe 20 minutes or 30 minutes because I was just like, this doesn't feel like a doco. I don't really feel like I'm learning anything here. Stutz as a man is amazing. Jonah Hill is amazing. And the idea was great. The idea here was good. There was potential. But unfortunately, I think the style and the format they went for was unfortunately a bit of a misstep. But I still do recommend checking this one out. Form your own opinion on it. You might think it's amazing. You might think it's fucking absolute dog shit. That's completely fine. My personal take is that I thought it was enjoyable, but it missed the mark a little bit. So it could have been improved or changed around a little bit, but that's just how I felt. So that was the review, guys. Hope you really enjoyed it. As always, click through to another video. We'll keep having some fun. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.